Welcome back, everyone. The day four of the 2026 World Cup gave us goals, drama, and one massive statement from Germany. The four time world champion absolutely destroyed Curacao 7-1 and sent a warning to the rest of the tournament. Meanwhile, Japan showed incredible character coming from behind twice to earn a thrilling second half 2-2 draw between Japan and Netherlands. We will also discuss Ivory Coast's huge victory over Ecuador and Sweden's dominant victory over Tunisia. Running a website sounds easy until you are dealing with blogs, pages, events, and about 10 different tabs open at the same time. That's why today's episode is sponsored by Odoo. Odoo lets you build your website, manage blogs, create events, and basically run everything in one place instead of switching between five different platforms. Honestly, it makes the whole process way smoother. If you are thinking about building your own website, blog, or project, check out Odoo using the link in the description below. If you want to start building your own website or brand online, you can check out Odoo in the description below and get started for yourself. To Serie A, before we break down all of these matches, don't forget, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. This new episode of the Football Plus F1 show. And yeah, let's get started. So, Germany against Curacao, or some people say Curaçao. Um, Germany wins 7-1 thanks to goals from Nemecha. And there was a surprise equalizer from Cuminencia, 1-1 in 21st minute. And then Schlotterberg, Kai Havertz scoring the goals for Germany to make it 3-1. Then the second half, Germany were absolutely destroyed Curaçao, and they had absolutely no mercy for them. Goals from Musiala, Brown, Undav, and Kai Havertz. Um, Obviously, against Curacao, obviously when in this against this kind of teams, Germany they should win comfortably, and it's not surprising that Germany won by 7 goals because that's how German teams always operate. They're always ruthless in the front of goal. They always want to score a lot of goals. They always want to destroy teams. This says a lot about Germany. Their mentality that they score, they want to destroy, and they're not satisfied for 1 goals or 2 goals and just victory. They just want to score more and more and more goals, and that's the mentality and the identity of German football, which is great. And I like it a lot because in my opinion, the best identities, the best mentalities are in world football right now. In my opinion, are the Germans and the Spains. Listen, there's many cultures and identities, but the Germans and Spains are the best. Spain, they like to dominate with purpose and play a beautiful football. As Germany are ruthless; they like to destroy teams. In terms of score lines. So yeah, and obviously you got the Italians who love a bit of catenaccio. So yeah, but it was a thumping victory for the four-time world champions. For the match of giving Germany the lead in the first half, and then out of nowhere, Kaminska giving the equalizer for Curaçao, and actually it was coming because before they scored the equalizer for Curaçao, they actually competed well and they actually had a good chance to score as well. But then Renati came back and came very quickly in the 38th minute. Came from a set piece from a goal from Schlotterberg, then the third goal scoring from Kai Havertz. And then the beginning of the second half, Germany had, like I said, they absolutely destroyed Curaçao. Goals from Musiala, very good goal. Nathaniel Brown, Dennis Undav, where Kimmich could have easily shoot himself and score, but he decided to play the team game, which is very fair enough for Kimmich, and Undav used to manage to score still, and Kai Havertz scoring as well. So it was a great performance from Germany, from everybody. I mean, defensively, they can improve a little bit with the partnership of Schlotterberg and Jonathan Tah, but they still play. Play. Defensively they can improve because sometimes defensively they can be vulnerable, but going forward they're absolutely fantastic team. There's listen there. Not many people put Germany as one of the big favorites to win this year's World Cup, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, because they are not the same team as they used to be before. They have had a big decline since they won the World Cup 2014 when they got knocked out of the group stages in 2018 World Cup. Same thing in 2022. So it's almost like a rejuvenated, a rebuilding side we are seeing from Germany under Julian Nagelsmann, and it's a good team. They've got very good players like Verts, Musiala, Havertz, who's a big game player, big tournament player, and Nemetcha, a very good player as well. Kimmich with his experience, quality, top quality player. Of course, defensively, so sometimes they can improve, they can be much better. So, and I think that's one of the big reasons that defensively they struggle, they can struggle a lot of times, and also even when they add their best version, even though when they've got great attacking players, their attack is not better than France. Their attack is not better than Portugal. So even when they're at their best version, they don't have the players the same, in my opinion, the same level of quality as Spain or France. In my opinion, because and defensively, like I said, they're a bit shaky as well. So it's not a great German side, a German team where they had top quality players, the likes of not only in the attack and defense, but also in the middle of the park, the likes of Philipp Lahm, Schweinsteiger, who was absolutely immense for Bayern Munich and for Germany. Thomas Müller as well. Klose, who I believe is the all-time top scorer in the World Cup. Andre Schürrle, where he was at his best. They had top quality. Also, back in the days, they had the likes of Lohar Matthias as well, who was a fantastic player for Franz Beckenbauer. How can we forget him? So, they've got really, really top quality players, and they've had really top quality players in the past. And right now, they've got quality players as well, but not the same level of quality as they had before. They still got Manuel Neuer as a goalkeeper, but again, he's not the Manuel Neuer that we all know. Even though sometimes he can create some shenanigans, which he did in this game, by the way, where obviously he went halfway the pitch, and he tried to play like a midfielder, which was typical Manuel Neuer. But again, like I said, it's not a great German side because, like I said, they've had a big decline since they won the World Cup in 2014. They are still defensively shaky, and even when they're at their best version, I don't think they're good enough to beat the likes of Spain, the likes of France, in my opinion. So, yeah, which was why I predicted them to get knocked out. I think in the last 16 or quarterfinals when there was a matchup. That it was between them and France, and I think France are better than them as a team, as a squad. Manager as well. I think Deschamps is a better manager than Julian Nagelsmann, and also they've got quality players. Particularly in the attack as well. So yeah, I think this German team can go very very far. This German team, they've got quality players, but this is still a German team that is still transition, still finding their way up. Just trying to get back to the good old German team days where they were absolutely the Mannschaft, basically, where they absolutely destroy everybody and they compete to win the World Cup and compete to win the Euros. So yeah. But again, this game they were very, very ruthless in front of goal, and it was very important for them to start a World Cup first match by winning comfortably, scoring 7 goals. And yes, it's against Curaçao, but you have to take what's in front of you. And Germany did that perfectly, perfectly well. Also, players coming off the bench, like Dennis Undorf, who made a very good impact as well. So yeah, I mean, there's still of course just question marks. Like I said, the Schlotterberg Tar centre back partnership, are they like dominant enough? Kimmich wanting to play midfielder, but Julian Nagelsmann, wanted to play at right back. So they're question marks, but at the same time, they're a very very good team. Musiala, he looked like a player that was back to his best, scored the goal, and he looked very very lively. So very good performance from him. And generally, it was a fantastic performance from Germany, and they won comfortably 7-1 against Curaçao. So yeah, I think Julian Nagelsmann and his team and the fans can be very satisfied because it was a very comfortable and dominant fashion, and especially they've 2 difficult games coming up against Cote d'Ivoire and Ecuador, but I think they're in a very strong position, and I think they should win the group considering that they've got better players and better quality than Cote d'Ivoire and Ecuador, even though two of those teams are good teams and they'll make it difficult for Germany. As for Curaçao, I mean, they scored their first goal ever in the World Cup, and congratulations to them. Obviously, it's a great moment, a proud moment for them. You could see the manager, how emotional he was when they scored that goal. So obviously, yes, they lost 7-1, which was still humiliating. But first match in the World Cup ever to play against Germany, your first ever World Cup match is very very brutal. And they scored the first goal ever in the World Cup. So congratulations, and I wish them all the best for the upcoming games against Cote d'Ivoire and Ecuador. And by the way, it's not the first time that Germany. This is the first time that Germany won 7-1. It's the first time that Germany ever won 7-1 in a World Cup. Right? 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 No, because we all know they won 7-1 12 years ago against Brazil in the semi-final, which was absolutely crazy. Because Brazil, even though they had Neymar injured, they were the hosts and they were the big contenders to win that World Cup. But Germany had different ideas. So yeah, and history repeats once again 12 years later, but this time it was against Curaçao and not Brazil. So well done to Germany, congratulations. Next match, Netherlands against Japan, 2-2 draw. Japan, fantastic game. In my opinion, that was the best match of the World Cup so far in terms of competitiveness between the two teams. It was the best match in the World Cup. Um, in the first half, it was, I think Netherlands were a better team in terms of possession, in terms of, control and chances. But still, they were not decisive enough in front of goal. In front of goal, in my opinion, and Japan were defending quite well. And then the second half, it went absolutely bonkers. This game went absolutely bonkers, and it was a crazy match after that. Van Dijk scoring the header, fantastic header, hit the post and then went in. And then 6 minutes later, Japan still, come back, respond very very strong. And Japan, they compete. I felt like before they conceded the goal from Van Dijk, it felt like it's almost like they lacked belief a little bit and they were a bit more cautious in this game. But as soon as Van Dijk scored that goal, it seemed like they're now, okay, there's no pressure on us. We're losing. Let's absolutely go for it. And you could clearly see after the Van Dijk scored the goal. Since after that, Japan were really at their best. Scored a fantastic goal from Nakamura. There was a suggestion maybe could have been offside, but according to the VAR, which should be a correct decision, the goal stood and it was 1-1. Nakamura scoring the goal, 1-1, and then you think like, okay, Netherlands were mostly in control of this game and winning 1-0. Now Japan are back in the game. Now they're coming back. They're responding. Okay, how's it going to go on? And then Somerville with a very quality goal. I mean, his left foot and then destroys it and scored from the bottom left of the corner. Fantastic goal. Yeah, obviously maybe Japan should have done better in terms of that goal, but again, still a quality goal. And you need a great technique, a great viewing to have to attend this kind of chances to score goals. And Somerville did fantastically well with that fantastic goal. So well done to him. 2-1. And you think like, okay, Netherlands are ahead again. Now they should not f it up again, and they should control the game a bit better. According to Ronald Koeman, no, because the substitutions he made was very baffling. He made defensive substitutions. Subbed off Comerville, and brought on Mainers. Brought off Dejani Reinders and brought in Quentin Timber, Joran Timber's brother. Brought in Nathan Ake for Gravenberch, the same Nathan Ake who hasn't played a lot of games for Manchester City, and Brian Robbie for Cody Gakpo. He made 4 or 5 defensive substitutions, and it didn't work. Listen, I still have to give credit to Japan because they responded really well. They were still kept going. They kept pushing. They never gave up despite they were behind twice, and they coped with a setback really well, and they competed really well, and they were so strong, particularly in the second half. But again, like I don't know what was Ronald Koeman thinking. Particularly the second goal, the goal that conceded Netherlands was a very very weak goal to concede. It's coming from a set piece. I mean, Ronald Koeman before this tournament, he said that
Arsenal, a lot of the goals Arsenal won the Premier League because they scored a lot of goals from set pieces, and England will be decisive in this year's World Cup because they will rely on set pieces, as we saw from Arsenal. Hello, Ronald Koeman. There you go. You could see the from a set piece. So again, and then that was very, very, very ignorant, very, very stubbornness from Ronald Koeman. So stupid. Like why? Like, should you not learn? I mean, Japan, when he scored that first goal from Van Dijk, 6 minutes after that, Japan scored. Should you not think, okay, let's go for it a bit more. Let's like keep pushing, and even we score the second goal, let's go for the third and the fourth instead of being decisive. And when you start to make defensive substitutions with what 20 minutes to go, I tell you what, it's a long 20 25 minutes to go. When you start making defensive substitutions, like very and let's not forget, like Japan, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, they're not easy team to play against, but they were there for the taking. They were there for the taking. It's not like Japan were, in my opinion, were that good. I mean, as soon as Van Dijk scored that goal, they were fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but before Van Dijk scored, Netherlands got the better of them. Like, why can't you continue? Why you go ahead and all of a sudden you want to switch off? I think Ronald Koeman made a big mistake in that, and let's not forget that, Ronald Koeman is a manager who has a habit of doing this kind of stupid decisions. You know, uh, being winning with 20 25 minutes to go, and then bringing defensively, and then all of a sudden you could see in the last minute. And again, it happened the same thing. I don't know what was he thinking. Bringing Memphis Depay for Marlon. Marlon had a good game, I think, in my opinion. He didn't have his best game, but I thought he had a decent game. He had a good game, and he was involved in trying to help Netherlands score, and he was involved. Like, you bring in Memphis Depay. I mean, Memphis Depay. I know he's an all-time scorer for Netherlands, but is he really that good? I don't think so. I think so. Gakpo had a very poor game as well. The midfield of Netherlands were looking quite good, but again, like, why do you make those defensive substitutions? I really didn't get it at all. In my opinion, Ronald Koeman cost Netherlands the win in this game. Listen, I might look like a guy that exaggerates, but from what he did, from what we saw, the substitutions he made, I'm sorry, like he cost Netherlands the win. He cost the Netherlands the win. Like, if you make a defensive substitution and you're trying to hold for a win, hold on against, let's say, a France or a Spain or a top quality team, and I get it. Japan are a good team, but they're not. They've got players missing. They've got players missing. The likes of Minamino, Endo. Who else? They're also missing. I think they're missing. They also miss someone else. Let me check who it was. They also missed. Oh yeah, they missed Mitoma, Minamino, and Endo, and they've got. It's basically Japan's best three players, basically. Even though they still look like a good team in this game, and you throw it away. I'm sorry, but Nora Koeman has nobody to blame other than himself, because he absolutely threw it away. He cost Netherlands the win in this game, and Netherlands, I don't think they were outstanding, but like, to play you in your first match to win against Japan would have been a positive, good start, especially against a good team like Japan, who beat Spain, who beat Germany in the 2022 World Cup. It would have been a positive start for them if they had managed to overcome this game with a win. But instead, they didn't do that because of their manager. Let's be honest, because of their manager. And I'm not saying Netherlands were outstanding, but like, when you're 2-1 up, like, Ronald Koeman should have sensed this. Van Dijk scoring the goal, and then all of a sudden 6 minutes later, Japan respond. Like, why don't you go for the third goal? Why don't you punish them? Why don't you sense more blood? Because Ronald Koeman didn't do that at all. So yeah. But yeah, still have to give credit to Japan, because that was a very good performance, particularly for them in the second half. First half not so much, but second half I thought they played really well. The character they showed, the fighting spirit, the never give up attitude. They really competed really well with Netherlands. And despite, like I said, all the key players they had missing, they still look like a team that has good organization. They still look like a team that plays with good harmony. They still look like a team that plays with good chemistry. And that's what teamwork is all about. Even when you've got top quality players or your best player is missing, you still look like a team. You still look, keep your soul, keep your blueprint, keep your spirit, and you keep your, the same level of mentality. And Japan did that fantastically well. A very good performance from them, and they competed really, really well. It was a fantastic performance. Obviously, they know, there's been a couple of goals scored from set pieces in this year's World Cup so far, and they took advantage of it for the second goal, from a header from Kamada. Even the first goal, they were strong going forward, and they scored from Nakamura as well, which was a very good goal. So yeah, Japan, they for sure they deserve the draw. Considering how well they played the second half, they for sure deserve a draw, and that's a very, very good point for Japan. Considering if they want to have a good chance of qualifying for the knockout stages, it's a very, very good draw for them to get against the Netherlands, because Netherlands, you look at this group, they are arguably the best team. Um, Obviously, Japan still have got difficult games. They've got they still have a difficult game against Sweden in the last match, which could be very decisive. But they've got next game coming up against Tunisia, and that's a very good chance for Japan to win against them and get to 4 points. And even if they lose to Sweden, they still got 4 points, and 4 points will most likely help you to qualify for the last 32, even if you finish third, even with 4 points. So very good point for Japan, and for sure they deserve to get something in this game. So well done, congratulations to them. As for like I said, for the Netherlands, yeah, it's a big disappointment. They didn't come away with winning in this game. I mean, they've got next game coming up against Sweden, who are a very good side and play very, very good football. So it will not be easy game at all for Netherlands. We will see how much more stubborn is Ronald Koeman or not. Um, but yeah, like Netherlands they have to bounce back next game against Sweden, because if they don't bounce back and they don't win, they might be in danger of being knocked out in the group stages. I'm not really joking. So yeah, they have to wake up, because when you don't win your first game in the World Cup, it can be a problem after that. So except for Argentina 2022, of course. But yeah, now also quick shout out to Odoo for sponsoring today's episode. I was literally updating the site earlier, and the blog event setup is ridiculously easy to use. Links below if you want to check it out. Anyway, back to the show. But what I will say also from this Netherlands team, like, you look at their team, you look at their squad, you look at the bench. They've got quality players, not just defensively. I'm not saying this Netherlands team is the same Netherlands team that we know before, where they played total football and they were absolutely destroying every team, and they played fantastic football, and they had great players like Johan Cruyff, Van Basten, Van Persie, Kluivert, Ruud Gullit, and so on. But like, they had quality. They had quality. Like, they still have quality players. Some of them is a good player. Marlon is a decent player. But the part, even though he isn't that great in my opinion, he's still a decent player. De Jong, Gravenberch, good midfielders. Reiners, good midfielders. They've got very good defense as well, with Dumfries, Van Dijk, Van de Ven. But again, they have all of those players. Like I mentioned, they have those players in the attack particularly are good. Good is not good enough. Good is not good enough to win the World Cup or to go very, very far in the World Cup. Good is not good enough. And in my opinion, Netherlands don't have it in them in this year's World Cup to go very far, to not just win the competition, because of course they're not one of the big favourites to win the competition, but to go very far, to reach this final, to reach the semi-final. I don't think they have it in them. And I don't think that, because if they play one of those big teams, the likes of, like I said, Spain, France, England, Portugal, even Germany, when they're not at their best, Netherlands will get punished, but heavily, heavily. So, yeah, this is a really a harsh lesson that for the Dutch and for Ronald Koeman to learn. Listen, doesn't take away from Japan's great performance. They've performed really well, and Asian teams are, you look at this year's World Cup, they've been very, very competitive. Australia, South Korea, and now Japan. But Netherlands, for sure, they have themselves to blame.